class. Not because I forgot to record the first half or anything. I am going to post the code from tonight into the live stream channel in Slack. If you want a copy of it, go get it, because Slack will only have it there for, I think it's 90 days or something like that.
Could you quickly show me the image again? How you do the image thing quickly?
Sure thing. Desktop 1, VS Code. So 2 ways of doing an image. The slightly preferred way of doing the image is importing it up at the top. We make sure that unsplash.jpg is in our src folder. We then import the file path and name it. And then the image down here, we put in curly braces and use the same name that we imported up here. Any other questions?
You know how in HTML, when you want to just click on something, you can see the code before you see it. Anything else? Can I do that from your zip? Just see the code.
You can do,
Like,
you can right click on it and then like open it with like a text editor or something.
Oh.
Yeah, you can just open it in VS Code and you can see all the code before you run it. Okay, we are.
I never used your code in a zip. That tell me what do we?
Oh, that we're not. That's just if you need a copy of it or need to reference it. We're not actually starting there.
Oh, okay.
That's just if you want a copy of it, you can use it. But we're starting from scratch. So we are going to terminal. We are CDing to our desktop to our my code folder, to our week 19 folder. We're going to pwd to make sure we're in the right place. We're going to go down into the day 3 folder and we're going to make a directory called example database, example API, we'll call it. Now I'm going to cd into my example API and run npm init-y. npm init-y is setting us up so that we can npm install packages. While we're in here, we can npm install, and then we get started typing express, body parser, cores, Sequelize, PG, and there's one I'm forgetting that we're gonna stumble into. Oh, node fetch we're gonna need as well.
What does npm init do inside of a directory?
It just creates the package.json for us, and this is the file that it created.
I should have pushed Y, so I didn't have to push all this extra stuff.
Can you leave this here for a second?
Yep.
Set npm install.
Yep. And I'm gonna screenshot this and put it in the live stream in case I move on before you are ready.
See,
Example -API.
All right, so basically we just got package JSON and package JSON lock.
Yes.
All right. Oh, I didn't do all that other stuff.
I typoed npm in-y instead of I-y, and it looks like it did something. Like it's
npm.
bunch of errors, and it is saying path to JSON.
I think it just errored out. It's just saying that it can't find package.json, no such file or directory, and so it just stopped running.
Okay, so it just failed. Whatever.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's npm init-y.
Oh, I is installed.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
Yes, FET.
Okay, once you have all of that stuff installed, we've got a lot of setup steps we need to do. So I'm gonna go to Visual Studio Code. I'm going to. Oh, so we're
What is PG?
Postgres.
Okay.
But I, then I, and it. Or just npm init y.
npm init space -y, npm space init space -y. So I'm gonna, in my VS Code, I'm going to open my folder for my desktop C3 my code, week 19, day 3, example API. Gonna open that, and I'm gonna create a new file called server.js and start a live share.
Oh, wait.
Once I am in my server.js, I would like for it to snap. There we go. I am going to get started with a lot of setup code. So I'm going to say const express will require express. Then we need our server coming from express. We also need our cores. And we need to tell our server to use the cores package. We need body parser. And we need to tell our server to use body parser. .json, because that's how our data is getting sent in. Then
Live share for this, Max.
Live share is in the Zoom chat.
Okay.
Then we need a server.get with a rec and a res. And the res sends back, hello world. Finally, we server.listen on 3001. And we console.log out server is running. We right click on our server and open an integrated terminal, and we do an npm run start, and it error outs.
Are you using the
No,
same?
it doesn't. It does work.
Are you using the same live stream from earlier?
No, it should be. Did I paste the wrong link?
I see a picture in there. I don't see anything.
No, in the Zoom chat.
Yeah, in Zoom.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, I'll post it in Slack as well.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right.
So if you get server is running, we go to our Chrome, we go to localhost 3001, we get hello world, and you're caught up. Again, point of tonight, point of every class from this point forward is making sure you understand what each and every line is doing, what each and every syntax symbol is doing. So if you have any questions, now is your time to ask. Poll is started. Hopefully you really understood the first half of class because it was not recording. So if you can get your hello world at localhost 3001, you are good to go.
You had the same poll from earlier, Max.
Should I have?
Oh. Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.
Try that again.
All right.
So you suggest starting it. I didn't even think to change it.
Be const
Can I
express.
rename my example API to backend?
So this backend isn't going to match our front end. They're going to be just two separate things.
Okay, well, I still need it for,
That's
fine,
we
yeah.
do the server stuff.
I didn't need example API back.
Because we're creating a server.
So
Then we could cross origin resource sharing, all the different things.
You have a question, Christy?
Yeah, when we got to the integrated terminal, what did we run?
NPM start.
Oh, that's it?
Yep.
Okay.
What did I do wrong? No.
Copy. Back.
Hello, world.
Why would that?
Then we have use the core.
Hey Max, I'm popping errors and they are saying, oh sorry. Missing script start. Did you mean one of these? I've never seen this.
I have a question.
Before.
Did you NPM start?
Yes.
Furnish install.
So I was actually kind of surprised that my npm start worked, because in package.json, there isn't a start script. So this is a good step for everyone to do anyway. If you add in the word start there and make it npx nodemon server.js, now when you npm start,
Oh,
oh, I forgot a comma. Now, when you npm start, it will actually start up with nodemon instead, and we are going to need that anyway. So if you are in your package.json, just add this script start, and don't forget the comma at the end, and that will make our server start up with npx, and we'll make it start with nodemon instead of node itself.
yeah.
Okay.
So I added this line to package.json under the script section. Zach, go ahead.
So that's how you got it to install like Express Constant.
No, we did that over here.
Oh, okay. I must have missed that. You just typed it all in on one line.
Yep.
Oh,
I did the npm init y, but I didn't. Oh yeah, I missed that other
I
line.
didn't even see the
Okay, so I have to
PG.
install
node
Sequelize,
dash,
PG, and node fetch as well.
So can we do npm I PG node dash separately? Okay, where did my?
I hope I did the feature.
Every step we've done on this project so far, other than creating server.js, believe it or not, is on the screen right now.
So after we added the nodemon in the package.json, we just do,
Control C in the terminal and then npm start again. And now npm start will work with nodemon instead of just regular node.
cool beans.
Oh, so, and we make our own script, surely. That am I getting at this stuff? We made our own script.
We meet our own server.js.
Yeah, that's what I'm.
Yeah.
Server dot-
It's a script, you're right. Zach, do you still have a question? Stephanie, go ahead.
So when we write npm start in the terminal, is it supposed to bring up the browser, or are we just typing localhost 3001 into the browser?
Type it right into the browser. React
Okay.
opens the browser for us. Express does not.
Okay,
no-
gotcha. Thank you.
When we first, I admit that I'm just like one step behind, but what did we put into the terminal?
And npm start after you modify your package.json file. And then you open up localhost 3001 in the browser by hand.
So we were supposed to close out a routing example.
Sorry, Australia.
We were supposed to close out a routing
Oh.
example.
Yes, we're done with routing example.
That's probably why.
Hello, world.
We'll see.
Where are we at in the poll?
Oh, let me go back to the goal.
4 people caught
I'm
up.
sorry, Max, can you help me? I'm like still crashing.
Go ahead.
Okay. Um,
Refresh.
okay.
Okay, so first thing, you don't even have a server.js, so there's nothing for it to start on. So you need to create your server.js file.
Okay, that's sorry.
And then once you get all of the, careful, that's
I don't.
K.
Yeah, I see it.
And then once you get all of my code in there, then when you npm run start, it should do the right thing.
Okay, thank you. I was like, what is going on? Thank you.
Students kill me. Plug in your laptops.
Did she just die?
No, but
It's gonna plug. I'm gonna plug it in a second. I'm sorry.
you're all at like 10% on your battery, and I'm like, oh.
I'm bringing industrial strength.
Probably
Box.
because I use mine all day at work, so then when I get here, I'm like, oh yeah, I have to charge it.
Low batteries that are charging don't make me paranoid. It's just low batteries that aren't plugged in. I'm like, go plug it in.
My personal laptop I got, I had never taken it anywhere until after the warranty was up, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go use it. The battery just never worked, so
Yeah.
it won't hold a charge. So the fact that this will last all the way through class, I mean, I have it plugged in now.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's so luxurious.
Yeah.
I got a battery that doesn't die in 15 minutes.
My brother's work laptop is like that, and he'll like, it's like unplugging, coming through, and he'll like sprint through the house to get to the charger. Like, it's like an announcement. I'm coming. I need to get this plugged in. All right, waiting for one more person to get caught up, and then we'll dive into this. Vote in the poll if you have not and you are all caught up, and we can thank you, whoever that was. We can get started. Okay, well, I guess continue to do our setup. So next step, we need to get our database working. So we are headed to Beekeeper Studio. We're going to open.
Sorry, I think I have a issue.
Well, one issue was I wasn't sharing my screen, but go ahead, share yours, and then I will share mine.
It's just crash on me.
Perfect.
Okay, scroll up. You've got a module not found. That module that was not found was body parser
Oh.
or
Yeah, okay.
so go to your server.js. And spell body parser right here. Save, good to go.
Thank you.
Okay, we head to Beekeeper. We open up the default database. I open a new tab and I create a database, and we're going to call it Star Wars because that's where we are going to get our data from.
Postgres already?
All right, you said
What?
Beekeeper.
database.
We need Postgres?
What the
What's
hell?
the default?
No, unless it should be running in the background already.
No, you said default database, then what next?
Database.
Connect the default database, open a new tab to get to the SQL script editor area, and then create database Star Wars, and then run down in the bottom right.
Okay, and when we create a database, the drop downs that are already there, we'll just add additional stuff.
Correct, right here.
Okay.
I'm about to say, where is the?
And then run, force run.
Okay, once we get our database created,
I think I'm lost.
Sure.
Go ahead, share your screen.
That works. Hey.
Selection. Query.
You said, I clicked that arrow down there. And then
No,
you,
you need to just hit the plus in the right here to get to a new text editor area.
what about, so how do I get rid of all that stuff?
You just hit the close button on that.
Like this?
Yeah,
Oh, what does that
close
mean?
tab. You don't need to see that.
Okay.
And now in here, you're going to just do create database Star Wars.
Okay, thank you.
What if you have like multiple things?
Oh my God.
After you should refresh it, then after you, ready, you should be able to see it. You see Star Wars?
Yeah, thank you.
You're
It
welcome.
took two away and added you back.
Yeah, if you click the little refresh button here, now when you go into this drop down, you should see Star Wars.
And then the other question was, can we close out of the terminal?
Terminal and Beekeeper we're done with. Well, maybe we'll use Beekeeper again. Yeah, I'll close out the terminal. Okay, so now that we've got our database created, we've got to do some work to get Sequelize set up. So we're going to create a folder called DB, and we're going to create db.js. In our db.js, we need to get Sequelize going. So we're going to say const Sequelize equals require our Sequelize. Then we need to tell Sequelize how to connect. Well, so we say const db equals a new const db equals a new Sequelize, and we got to tell it where to connect. So we're telling it, hey, you're connecting to Postgres with your username of mine is hack upstate. You should put in whatever your username is. You're not putting in Star Wars, you're putting in whatever your username is. We then say at localhost 5432. 5432 is the port that the Postgres runs on by default. And now we're going to say /Star Wars, because /Star Wars is the name of the database that we're connecting to.
2 S's or 1 S max for Postgres.
Ooh, one. Thank you. Good catch.
You're welcome. Stop on type hack upstate though.
And then I am going to put one more thing in here that sets logging to false, so we don't get a bunch of SQL in our terminal that we don't want to see. Then we need to try to connect to the database.
Do we all have 5432?
Yes. So we are then going to say, hey, there's a function called const connect to DB. And that is an async function that is going to try and await db.authenticate. And if it works, we console log out connected. And we run a database sync, so our models copy in. And then if it doesn't work, we're going to catch an error that console.errors out the error, and also says console.error panic db problems are, why not, throw some color in it, and then we connect to the database. And finally, we need to module.exports out our database. And last step, we need to go back to our server.js, which I'm going to put down here, and add one line of code up at the top. Before we do our server.get, we need to pull in the database. So to do that, we say const db equals require from the current file, go into the database folder and get database.js. If everything is working, you should get connected in the terminal.
Oh, I didn't make a folder. Oh. Is it? Let me just look at it.
Zach, go ahead.
I misclicked something in the live share, and it says following at the top, and it won't let me like navigate to other folders.
Yeah, there's a little like pin icon somewhere up here. It looks like a little push pin. If you click that, it will unfollow.
Ah, I see. Thank you.
And I think what is the other one? Cause I clicked that on accident and I didn't know what it did.
Oh, you may have screwed it up for all of us. It locks you in so that whenever I change files, it changes files on the live share. But for whatever reason, even though I started a read-only one, apparently read-only people can still make them follow you.
Mhm.
So that's what it does.
I like to follow you. So I just-
Yeah, one says follow the person who's doing the live share, and the other one is like force everyone to follow me.
Yeah, I didn't click that and I think it like clicked onto Zach. So
Yeah.
I was like, never mind. I don't know what I did, but my bad. But he was following you, so I was like, okay, I'm fine.
Okay. Also, comments, like, oh. And then you said we should see what, Mac?
Connected in the terminal. Don't forget line 7 in server.js to require in the database if you do not have a connected in the terminal.
Are we still recording?
This is recorded, yes.
So we have line 7. Different. Oh, server is running. Oh, that's the. Okay. Well, that's what should be. There was my house is up all connected.
Why do we have to do error so many times? I just wait what they do.
Oh, script. Cool. Slash.
You mean try to read it, right? And maybe it makes-
Oh, you mean all the errors in the connected EV?
Oh, catch the error and then we'll console. Why is it a console error?
Because once we catch it, we still want to be able to see it in the console.
Yeah, that confused me too. So error is just, it's a console log that logs errors.
Correct.
Okay.
It's a different kind of console log.
Oh,
Does
okay.
it format it differently or?
Yes, and depending on how Node is set up to run, it may put it in a separate file. So like our server is set up that if it console logs it, it just holds onto the logs for like 24 hours and then deletes them. But when there's a console error, we get an email alert saying, oh, something errored out on the server, go check the logs.
Okay.
All right, something ain't working.
There's console.debug, console.log, console.info, console.warning, and maybe one other one.
What is console.debug do?
It's just a log, except more on the, it's kind of like using a semantic HTML tag. Instead of just calling it a div, you can call it a inav or whatever.
Yeah, mine's not working out. I'm not getting that console log thing. I don't know why.
Do you have this in your server.js? Oh. Oh, come on, Max. You have that line in your,
I do.
okay.
Am I writing this all in the wrong file?
Server is mine.
Trying to watch.
Just two so far. I think.
Where is
JS.
your DB?
Server JS.
Oh, I missed the word.
You're in there, man.
Okay.
Oh, you're missing the final line on that connect DB and module.export.
Thank you. That's why this time my friend just
So
missed
at
me.
this point, what should we be seeing?
You should see in your terminal, it should say servers running and connected.
Terminal, yeah. Definitely seeing that.
Thank you, I got it. Yeah. Good. We vote. May the force be with you.
Document. Okay, I have a question. Mine's crashed.
What's the error?
Do I go to the inspect to find the error?
No, it should just be in the terminal. Should scroll up and it'll tell you why it's
Oh,
crashing.
all the way up?
Scroll down a little bit. Says cannot find module DB, and that's because your file path is missing at the second slash there. Say
Oh, right.
DB.js.
I did say that.
Nice rendition.
All right, one more person in the poll and we will round this out
So
for
can you see your
tonight.
polls in Zoom now?
I feel like I might have said no, but keep going. I always do that.
Oh.
But I did, it had.
So you said if.
Zach, go ahead.
I think I answered the poll, but
So like when I go to Zoom, I see at the bottom, it'll have the poll option and then I'll click on it there and it'll bring it back up.
Here, freeze.
Well, if you answered it already, it's gonna be gone.
oh, I'm gonna look for that the
Then
next
that mean
poll.
we, and yeah.
Look on Max's screen, right? See, you just see where it says poll, well, right there. So that option pops up
Yeah, we'll go ahead.
Scroll up.
when the poll. Live.
Okay, so you've got extra example API as part of your file path there. Go ahead and take that out.
Oh, excuse me.
Right in, oh wait, hold on. Yeah, I think that's right. Just take out that example API and see if that fixes it. Yeah, you're good.
No, it's fine, but is that,
Thank you.
you have that
Wait,
in your
where's-
console?
Okay, we're gonna keep going here. So we are going to use
Oh.
the Star Wars API.
Oh, let me check mine.
And the Star Wars API is going to give us a bunch of people back. So if you look, we are working with swapi.dev, which stands for the Star Wars API.dev. I swear I did not plan on using this tonight before I came in with a Star Wars shirt. So we,
Can't find my browser window.
Just type in localhost 3000.
we are going to make a call to this API, get some of this information back from the API and store it in our database. So we're going to create a new file called people.js, and we need to set up a Sequelize model. So we need to const in our data types from our require Sequelize.
People
We
is
are-
inside of database.
What's that?
Is people inside database.
It is, yes. Then we're gonna say module.exports. It needs access to the database. And what it's going to return is a definition of the model for people.
Is it supposed to be a capital P?
No, capital P in the file name. And then in here, we always have an ID that has a type of a data types dot integer. We don't always have an ID, but it's almost always a good idea to add one. We do our primary key and we do our auto increment. We then, and I'm not gonna store all of the information, but let's just say we're gonna store their name, which is a data type of a string. It's also going to store their height, which is a data type of integer. And we'll store their, let's store their, I don't know, birth year. And for whatever reason, the birth year is in a string format, so we make that a data type string. Important to pay attention to what the data type is when you create the model. Yes.
So this is Larry's request from API.
This is pulling data from an API and storing it in our database.
Okay, so then after, can you show us how to make a database for ourselves? Like if we wanted to make,
Well, it depends what you want to store in your database.
basically, I wanted to, all the information I have, like the different services.
So then you would create services.js and figure out what fields you need to store about your services.
And then would I put it there and then it would appear in my Beekeeper?
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
So once we get this set up in people, we go back to our database.js. No way I can do it all in that tiny window. We go back to our database.js here. Let me split my screen. That will work better.
What's that?
And we're going to say const people equals require our people file and pass it in the database that we just connected to. Once we are connected and everything's good, go ahead and export out the people so we can use it in another file. So if everything works at this point, when you go to Beekeeper and you refresh this little dropdown and change it to Star Wars, and then hover over entities and refresh that, we should have our people table. And if you drop it open, you can see our name, our height, and our birth year. Stopping to poll.
Look again, what's his name? Doug. Look in
It's
again.
there. I see it. Polls.
See it? I see it. I see it.
Simple things in life.
Yeah, then it disappears.
I see dead people. Oh wait, they're not dead, but I see people.
Where should we see this in Beekeeper? No, people.
Yes.
Oh, hmm.
Yep, if you refresh the database up here, make sure you're set to Star Wars, come down to entities, refresh the entities, and then you should be able to see your people. Your people, my people, anyone's people, just people.
You said height?
On
Name,
crash.
height, and birth year. Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
When you are in class, does your mind like understand it and then hold on to it for a certain amount of time?
I'm in class where?
Like your information from class, mind, like hold it and then like you have it until like a long certain amount of time. And
Some stuff, but like lately I just been.
lately,
Yeah, that's something I'm dealing with.
It's like there for a second. It kind of floats through.
I don't know if you guys are Star Wars fans, but becoming a full stack developer is a lot like the scene where like Harry's making Dumbledore drink the poison. And Dumbledore's like, stop, please let me stop. And Harry's like, you must keep going.
Oh.
That is what this, maybe that's just a nerd thing.
no, I tried it, but
Wow.
there's so many Star Wars, you don't know where to start anymore today. Like
Yeah.
back then, if I watched it, then I didn't know where to start.
I got them all.
I thought, did you say,
Harry Potter.
yeah.
Yeah, not Star
Oh,
Wars.
sorry.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry, but I didn't know
Yeah.
that for Star
I was
Wars.
like,
Like you're a
Dumbledore.
Star Wars
I
fan and
don't.
Harry's telling Dumbledore.
No, sorry, Harry Potter.
didn't see that.
I feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah.
In your db.js,
Yeah.
make sure that you have a the const people and the module exports people right here.
All right, you're back.
Okay.
We should have
Oh, exports.
used Avengers and not Star Wars.
Sorry, I don't know is there an Avengers API?
I don't know.
Probably.
Probably so.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, they're great. So.
Then it crashed.
There's a Marvel API.
Ah, there you go.
People is not to find out to import people. People.
The
Okay.
errors are, there's like 30 lines. It's hard
We
to
should,
find
we should
where
mute
the
that
actual
real quick.
error is.
Try to access. No, I'll probably have to.
Oh, people, okay,
Oh,
require,
Oh, okay. If we need
class people.
Got it, got it. I really have to like, go back and. I think that's like the first. Like,
All right, giving everyone one more minute, so I want to leave the last 15 minutes for questions on capstone and homework and all of that stuff. This last step, I'm gonna just do as one big batch. I'm not going into turbo mode, but this is the example setup. Now we're gonna take it a step further. Larry said, how do I make an API call that is gonna actually go through and load the people into my database? So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make that API call work. So, server node is a little weird in that fetch is not built into it like it is in the browser. So what we need to do is say const fetch equals require in from node dash fetch. Now we actually get access to fetch. So what we're going to do is we're going to say const get people is an async function.
Oh, .db.
We are going to say get people. And now in our async function, we need to call the API. So we are going to say, go make a fetch to HTTPS swappy.dev. Again, swappy stands for Star Wars API application programming interface /people/1. And that is going to be our response. Hopefully this code is looking familiar to you.
Should it say HTTPS twice?
No, it most certainly should not. Then we const our data, which is going to be our response. Got JSON. And then we're just going to console log out our data. And I have a crash in my terminal, so I did something wrong. No. Shoot.
Yeah,
No.
that fetch gave me made my terminal crash.
No.
That no fetch.
No, I know exactly what this error is, and it's not a
Oh,
free
yeah.
easy fix. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. I'll be back.
I got the same error.
Yeah, your terminal is probably crashing. I'm working on a fix. Give me a minute.
Is that it? No.
already typed.
Okay, so the problem that we run into here is this says require of ES module is not supported. That means that node fetch has been updated to the point where it doesn't like us using this require syntax anymore, because the require is an older import method that node is slowly inching towards React to catch up in. So the way that we fix that is in package.json, we add a line, Larry, that says type :module. I think that's right. So in our package.json, we have to add this type module. So now that we did that, the problem is we can now no longer use require, we need to use imports instead. So we change this to say import express from express. Then we say import cores from cores. And this is all because node fetch has said, we don't like this old syntax anymore that require. We would like you to use the new stuff instead. So we update our imports. And maybe this is a light bulb moment for some people to see that the require is just like an import. And after we do all of that, we save. And now the problem is that our db.js does not export db.
Import.
So we need to change all of these as well. If you're not following along with this at this point, it's totally fine. I get it. This is all a requirement because
That's also the wrong copy.
Oh, this is going off the rails quickly.
It's because of Star Wars. No, it's like.
No, it's because we're using fetch in the background. How do I don't. Larry, you broke me. You've reached the bounds of my knowledge. I don't actually know how to rewrite this.
Let me save it and come back to it tomorrow.
We need to
highlight them, the slash.
Beginning.
const people
If there's a bunch of them,
or all people.
second, you just highlight them all, hit command slash.
Oh, yeah, that was, yeah.
And then in here, we need to do a
I think I've got an error that,
Command //
uh,
Oh, it
Command
did work.
slash.
that command slash. Sorry, I thought you were looking for that.
Either way, it would work, because it did work. I was.
Yeah, the nice thing about the command slash, is you can comment it out.
not find module. Then this is export DB people. And then this.
Did you guys get a people in your Star Wars database?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't see.
You didn't put well, now we're changing stuff. I don't know if it's broke, but did you put like the DB after the const required people thing? The first I didn't get it, then I had to go back and look.
In DBJS?
And DBJS, yeah, const people, capital people equals required. And then
Yep, I got that.
and then at the end of people in parentheses, DB is a parameter.
Yep.
Okay, so good. Import,
I had all my code though.
import DB.
Well, I don't have this. I do. Oh, we moved it. Okay.
can I find module DB people imported on example API db.js? Do I? Const people, connect people, export people. I'm gonna find module. What do you mean you cannot find the module? I'm exporting it right here.
Why is the rec white again?
Because we aren't using it in our code, we're just using it to get to the res.
Yours is red, I mean, yours is orange, dark.
No, my rec is lighter here and my res is darker.
Where do you-
Oh, but yours has 3 green dots, so I'm guessing that's.
not provide and export.
I was not prepared for. Why are you mad at me? That should work.
So import DB from
Okay, that's all working. Import people from people. Hey, you wanna play dirty? Let's play dirty. Is it,
Oh. Oh.
no? Did I spell people wrong? Am I doing something really stupid?
Oh, you spelled.
Cannot find module, example API, DB people imported from. Oh, is it?
Was it ED?
No, it's.
No, I read that together.
It's not stupid. Oh my God. Require doesn't require. I had to put the .js in there. That was the whole freaking problem.
Okay. SEQUE.
Okay, if you did not follow any of that, I am not surprised. I basically had to refactor all the code to use require instead of using import. I'm sorry, we refactored the code instead of using require to use import instead. So that's the newer syntax, and we had to do all of that because node fetch requires import. It doesn't let us use the requires anymore. So the last thing to bring this class home, I know that just went off the rails, but what we're going to do is we look at the data coming back. We got Luke and the hair color and all of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to say people.create people coming from the database. We are going to create a new one with the name coming from the data.name and the height coming from the data.height. And then finally, the birth year coming from the data.birth year. So if we save that and go to our beekeeper, we can actually see in the people table that Luke is now in there.
So.
I
Some
provide
people had that
named
before.
people.
And if we change our people ID to like number 2 and save, if we go to Beekeeper and refresh, you'll see we get another character.
What's the people import?
And mine is not
Yeah.
working again.
He had to redo it.
Yeah, I had to redo a lot of my imports, just check.
But where does people import, where it says people import?
From DBJS.
But mine says
But
the requested module.
where's people import defined?
Export name.
That not,
It exports from people to DB. It flows through DB to server.
I share my screen, Matt.
Yeah, go for it. Nope, just kidding. Now go for it.
Right.
So we took the. Got it.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through the steps with you, Larry, in hopes that it helps someone else. Anytime we have a require or a module dot exports, we've got to refactor it to the ES6 syntax.
Okay, I missed that one.
So this one goes to an import. This one goes to a from.
Get rid of the equal.
We get rid of the equal, we get rid of the quotes, but then we also run into a problem. We can't use module.exports because that's the equivalent of require on the exporting side.
Okay.
So what we end up doing is we say const people, and then we export default people here.
Okay.
And then in your db.js, you have your people import. And so what we need to do is say our const people require, this is going to become an import. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is going to become people import. And then we pass it to DB.
where does the function people import come?
Thank you.
It's a default name. So because it is exporting from
Oh.
people,
Okay,
How come you didn't have to change?
Still
the-
crash, Max.
DB does not have an, and then,
Oh, people right here with this down here.
yeah, but hold on, before you do that, that's a module exports. So instead you have to say export
Okay.
and then people and get rid of that.
Okay.
And that's in what, DBJS, cause
All right, we up and running now. Now, what should be happening in the database?
Let me just peek in your server.js before you go. You are missing the people.create in here, and then you should be able to see Luke in there.
Okay, thank you. People.create.
I still have the.
got-
error.
Stephanie, go ahead. Sorry, I should have told you guys, you did not need to follow along with getting this import working. As long as you understood the concept of, hey, we've got our database all set up. Now we're making an API call and dumping some data into the database. If you just get that conceptually, you're good. If you're stuck on this require and import stuff, I'm happy to help you through it, but you do not need to get it working.
I'm gonna skip my turn. I think I found where the problem is, but I'll raise my hand if I can.
Cool.
and are you gonna work now? No, you're not.
So if we would have made this request from the front end, we wouldn't have had this issue with the different.
Right, because Node has fetch built in, or the browser has fetch built in, Node does not.
Aw,
Oh, boy.
Had I done this in advance, I would have just started with imports from the beginning, but this is a good example of when you run into errors, sometimes you've got to refactor large swaths of code to just get one thing working. Chrissy, go ahead.
I went through
no
everything,
data.
I think, and I still don't, where's my screen? I
Go
don't
for
still have a,
When it takes me 15 minutes to do it, I don't expect you guys to be able to do it in that time period.
here- DBJS, I went through and updated what you said.
Okay, so one thing that I see right off the bat is, let me in, please. Okay, one thing I see off the bat is this should just say you were close, but it should just say export.
Oh, I didn't change that. Okay.
Well, next.
And then in your server JS, you have all of that in. So if we go to Beekeeper and look in your people table,
Right.
you are officially caught up.
How y'all got a people table?
Thank you.
Cause we don't.
Yeah, y'all must really.
Nicole, you're next.
Did you refresh it?
Sorry, I gotta find this.
You're gonna ask questions at the end.
Okay, so I don't have people, I don't have anything, I did this, I did this.
Okay, so we know something's wrong with your model. So let's go to your code. And let me just remote control. Sorry, at this point in the night, it's like,
Yeah, of course.
thank you. Okay, so DBJS, you have your people import, you have your sync. Oh, you got an error down here. That's where I should
Yeah,
have
that's
started.
what
Okay, so it's requires Sequelize that's causing the problem.
I just changed that.
Probably in here. There it is. So import from Sequelize. So parentheses. and- Okay, now we've got a problem. True is not defined. This needs to be a lowercase t. And now you're all caught up. And if we go back to, where's your Beekeeper? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
And refresh.
Yay.
People, come on, Luke. The force is with you.
Yeah.
Doug, go ahead.
So I'm getting an error, and I'll share my screen. Here, which screen?
I kept up with the class tonight.
Good work. If only I had recorded the first half as proof.
We're on example API, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm getting, I cannot use import statement
Okay.
outside a module.
So that's a common one. Go to package.json. And anywhere in here, just, I'm sorry, not anywhere. You can either do it at the top or after name. Doesn't really matter. After name, put your cursor there, hit enter, do quote type, and then parenthesis quote module. And that is telling Node, hey, we don't want to use, no parentheses though.
Sorry, there's a parenthesis quote.
Sorry, my bad.
Type,
And then a comma at the end. And that's just telling Node instead of using common JS, which requires working time. So save, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you have your data, and you should be in Beekeeper if you're all caught up.
I still got no table in my stream.
Okay, so let me request a vote.
I gotta find,
Where that went.
yeah, which, oh, here it is, approved.
Thank you. Okay, server JS, server, you have a, yeah. Connected. So you don't have a, can you check in? Hold on, let me check one more thing. DD Star Wars, import, you export it, you sync it, and your people. Oh, all of that looks right. Let me just come over and see your Beekeeper.
Yeah, let me look back to Beekeeper.
Can't wait to get.
The refresh on entities, go down and hover over
On
entities.
entities. Oh,
There
there
it
it is. Thank you, Max.
No problem. Stephanie, you are up. For frustratingly has like 14 different refreshes and they're not even always on the screen, so.
Thank you.
Stephanie, did you still have a question?
I found like a million. Oh, I found a million errors, and none of them was it until I got to the DB one. I didn't put import. I just said import people from. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I figured it out.
Good work. If you are able to keep up with the last 20 minutes of class, you are really getting to be a decent developer. Wayne, go ahead. If you got everything working, by the way, you can head out for this evening.
Have a good night, guys.
Or if you're ready to kill someone, you can also head out this evening. Okay. Go to your people file and save. Okay, now we can look at that error. Scroll up a little bit. Import the db.js does not provide an export. So go to db.js and your several here. Let me just go through quickly with you. So whenever we see a require, we need to change it to an import. And then this one should become just a regular export. And then this becomes an import. And now we've got a people. Oh, this should just say Sequelize. And then in server, we have to change all of these over as well. So I'm just going to cheat because we already did all that work here. Okay, now we're really close. Your people, name, height, birth year, all of that's right. Why is it mad? Name, height, birth year. What does your beekeeper look like? Name, height, birth year. Name, height, birth year. Oh, I have no idea why you're getting that.
Give me his number, like.
Why you, Wayne? Why is it always you? All right, we're gonna guess. Name, height, birth year. Let's try this. Let's Let's try and just like delete the table and restart it. Ugh.
Mhm.
What in God's name, Luke? Oh, here you go. Name isn't an integer, Wayne, it's a string. So the database was mad because you were trying to put a string into an integer.
A
So-
number into a text.
Exactly. So now when you restart the server, you're connected, and if you refresh and look at your people, there's Luke.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem. Any final questions for tonight? All right. Have an awesome night, everyone. We will see you tomorrow.
What are we doing tomorrow? That's what I.
We might start on the portfolio site unless I can think of anything else that you guys want to review.